Okay, Assault of the Killer Bimbos. Well, and I think that proves it beyond a shadow of a doubt. Assault of the Killer Bimbos came out in 1988. Thelma and Louise came out in 1991. I think any bimbo could figure out who stole from whom. And I'm here with Anita Rosenberg, the creator of Assault of the Killer Bimbos, and she may not look steamed right now, but she is. She missed her chance for an Academy Award. And you know what? I even like the ending of your movie better, Anita. Wearing bikinis on the beach, drinking Coco Locos, that's a movie. Driving off the cliff like a maniac, no movie, right?
Right. Cowabunga.
Okay. Well, I think we've beat that dead horse into a stupor, haven't we? Now tell me, this was your first film, right?
Well, it was my first directing feature. I did a film called Modern Girls for Atlantic, releasing before it had Virginia Madsen, Cindy Gibb, Daphne Zuniga, about girls going to nightclubs looking for guys. And I'd done that a few years before. I wrote the story and was the associate producer. And they didn't let me direct it, which I would have loved to have done, but I didn't. So this was my first shot to direct.
I see. Well, and so because it was your first time to direct, you weren't entirely familiar with the procedures for casting an exploitation film, I understand.
No.
Tell that story. That's a good story.
Well, part of the film is that we had to have a certain amount of nudity. I think we had to have 3 times in the movie we had to show some breasts. And
that counts for a lot on this show. We like that.
Yeah, I guess it's the breast thing. So we ended up getting an actress who, I guess male directors need to see the girls come in and audition and take off their clothes. It didn't really matter to me. One girl said she'd take off her top, and that was good enough for me. And
you mean normally when they come in for the audition, you examine the breasts?
I heard that happens. I heard that happens, yeah.
Well, I don't mean anything bad by it. I mean, you just...
They want to see what they're getting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love this actress. She was really talented. She was adorable. And my sister was the costume designer, my sister Susan. And she comes to me one day after we start, and she says, Anita, you totally lucked out. She says, the girl with the best breasts is the one that's showing them. So, it worked out great.
That could actually be a good rule of thumb, Cast the best actress, the breasts will follow. Don't you think? But, anyway, you did your homework. I understand that you interviewed thousands of potential bimbos in order to find the 3 bimbos who were finally cast in the picture. Right?
We did a really interesting thing at the Roosevelt Hotel. We had a casting call for bimbos, and about 200 girls from Hollywood came out. I think it had been a long time since there was an open casting call for anything of this nature, and it was hysterical. It was fun, and Entertainment Tonight was down there, CNN News, a lot of news people. And we had 200 gals, and we saw every single one of them, but we didn't cast any of them. But it was an interesting experience to have them come down.
What were you looking for that you couldn't find? I would say, casting bimbos in Hollywood wouldn't be that hard a thing to do.
But casting good actresses in Hollywood is a different story.
Okay, well, you didn't want real bimbos. You wanted actresses who could play bimbos.
Right, because I think there's a big difference. There's a big difference because I think it's difficult to play a bimbo and to play it well. So actually we were looking for good actresses. As my first feature, I wanted the girls to look good, I wanted it to reflect well on me, and I wanted them to come off like three interesting actresses. There's nothing worse than a female movie with 3 screaming, giggling girls. I would go, oh God, will you quit screaming to each other? So that was important. It can get a little irritating.
Tell me the truth, what do your friends think about you directing Assault of the Killer Bimbos?
I think they love it. I think it's great. It's, you don't set out to make a cult film. You make a film, you do the best job you can, and you have a lot of fun with it. And I think it's kind of attracted a kind of a cult status, and I think that's neat. And it sort of gives you a little niche.
Okay.
And that's my niche, so it's fun.
Well, you're obviously very dedicated to what you do. What do you have coming up for us in the future? Are you going to make Return of the Killer Bimbos, or?
No, I'm doing Valley Girl 2.
Valley Girl 2,
yep,
okay.
The sequel to a really terrific film that was originally directed by Martha Coolidge, who's a wonderful director. It had
About
Nicolas
10
Cage,
years ago, right?
It was done actually exactly 10 years ago, and it was a neat picture. So a gentleman named Brad Cravoy, who is Motion Picture Corporation, who was Roger Corman's vice president. So I've kind of gone around in a circle, gone back to my
the
Roger
famous
Corman
Roger
roots.
Corman,
Absolutely.
King of the Drive-In, who's been on this show
Really?
more than once.
Great.
Yes.
He got the rights to do Valley Girl 2, and I was just excited because I had done, Modern Girls was with Atlantic, who had done Valley Girl. So I've always just admired the picture. So there's just no doubt in my mind this would just be a real fun film to make. So, so I'm working on that, writing and directing that.
So we can look forward to that. And you also do TV work. And
I'd like to do more. I've done a couple TV pilots, TV projects.
So you don't do TV work. Sorry, I asked about it.
Well, I did a couple.
Okay.
I did a little thing called Bachelorette Pad. Years ago, I used my thesis film from graduate school at NYU about Barbie dolls that came to life. It was about Candy Stone, the swinging single bachelorette, and we developed it at Universal for ABC, and did a script. It was a lot of fun. It was sort of before Madonna and before Cyndi Lauper, so girl projects were still a little strange, but now hopefully girl projects are coming back, and
okay, well, we'll look forward to more girl projects.
Female things, yeah.
But check those breasts before you cast those lead actresses.
I'm going to check the guy's buttocks before I
that
cast
too.
those
That's
pictures.
fine.
I'd rather do that part, yeah.
All right, Anita, thanks for being here. And
well, thanks for having me.
Sure, it was fun. And right now we're going to watch yet another feminist film. That'll make 3 in a row tonight. And it's a cult classic called Ms. 45. Do you know this film?
No, I've never heard of it.
You've never heard of it?
No.
Well, it's kind of the female version of Death Wish, and it became famous almost as soon as it appeared in 1980. Zoe Tamerlis, I think this is her only movie. She's the star. She plays a young deaf-mute girl who works in the garment district of New York City. And this director, Abel Ferrara, do you know him? You know
He's
who
an
that
actor,
is?
isn't he?
No, he's a director. He's a
director?
famous New York director. But this was his first movie. But he later went on to make King of New York. Now, you've seen that, right?
Yes,
Starring
yes.
Christopher Walken.
Right.
Anyhow, what Abel does in all his movies is he takes your worst New York nightmare, whatever it is that you think is the very worst thing that could ever happen to you in New York City, and then he makes it about 10 times worse. Very, very creepy movies. Looks like he uses real street people in some of the roles, and you're especially going to like this if you're a single woman living alone. Very brutal movie. Body hacking, 16 dead bodies, 2 rapes, rated R. Check it out, and then I'll be back to talk about it a little more. So, appreciate it, Anita. You were great.
Thanks.
You have a ride home tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, good.